Yeah, man, getting straight to it. This past weekend, it was announced that JJ Redick is officially the Lakers head coach. We talked about this last podcast, giving a lot of reasons as to why JJ being in this position as the Los Angeles Lakers new head coach could potentially not work. However, despite what we thought, the Lakers, Rob Pelinka went on and made the move. And now that it's official, let's just start with the takeaway from the press conference. Obviously, everybody, tries to put forth their best foot forward with, winning over the press conference. And JJ pretty much did that. Basically, I would look at it as him pretty much setting the tone to let people know, like, I don't give a fuck. JJ's words, not ours. Um, I don't give a what y'all think, what the narratives are. I know what I need to do. I know the expectation is for me to win the championship, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that with the help of the players I'm coaching as well as the front office. And just letting it be known. What did y'all take away from JJ Redick's press conference as the Lakers' new head coach?
I speak as a Lakers fan, by trait and by inheritance from the late great Bean. It's the only way. But I'm still rocking nonetheless. But I didn't put too much stock in it, man. Winning the press conference doesn't equate to winning games. So you can be as charismatic and use some obscenities. Get your get your Greg Popovich on. But it didn't move me one way or the other. I'm just interested to see what kind of staff that he onboard, seeing as though they let Phil Handy walk out the door, which was idiotic in my point of view. I think somebody who definitely could have been assistant coach or potentially um, I thought could have been really considered for the head coaching position. But I like JJ Redick. Like he said, I think his only coaching venture was, I think, the Boys and Girls Club or something
His
he was
son's
doing
like fourth
prior to
grade
that
team.
doesn't equate to, yeah, whatever. Um, Something that don't equate to NBA basketball, obviously, but optimism. Anthony Davis signed Outcast, so we'll see if bro got what it takes.
I mean, I think people have learned to respect his views as actual player, and I think the fact that he's willing to step up and speak how he feels, no matter what the narrative is, um, that's going to benefit him. I think that's what people looked at when they hired him, and
That boy Black P's been in the gym, man. I see you, baby.
man,
Hey,
push-ups go a long way. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
nah, for real though.
Nah,
Boy, preach.
I do feel like what he's been doing recently in the public eye on TV shows, just standing up for players, in particular black players, showing that, he's a little bit more on the equal side. I think that gave him that little bit of an edge as far as like impressing the players, the staff, even the image of the Lakers, I kind of think it just puts that little bit of like, hey man, we got somebody that's publicly known that's going to speak up for you guys, or at least it's shown that aspect of his traits as a person. So I think that's one of the biggest keys as far as like reason why they hired him, or at least the image of why they hired him, because they're gonna make it seem like, okay, when things are going wrong, JJ's actually gonna make things happen, or he's gonna not just sit there and take it and just look dumb like previous coaches have looked. Like he's gonna be a little bit more of a just a little bit more vocal. I think a lot of the last couple of years, I feel like LeBron has been the coach as far as like making moves and deciding who needs to be there. I feel like LeBron can actually take a little break now and actually leave it to where it's like, okay, JJ, you know how this goes. Get the guys that we need, fix it. So that's how I feel about it.
I believe that JJ Redick was the best man for the job. I think
Mm.
that to I think a good start, a good direction and step to take towards the championship is making sure that the head coach and the star player have a really good relationship or connection, especially if you're getting a new head coach. Um, you know what I'm saying? You would like to believe that LeBron James and JJ Redick are going to mesh well, but you know that obviously looks very easier said than done, and it looks real cute on the podcast. We'll have to see how well they actually mesh together as basketball minds when they are actually out there in battle. So that's to be determined. But for the most part, just processing all of what JJ has done in terms of how he's tried to go about doing his podcast and expanding people's understanding for the game. My biggest takeaway from JJ as a uh, my biggest takeaway for JJ as a head coach is that I would like to believe through gauging what I've seen him talk about on his podcast and so forth, is that he has a healthy balance of analytics as well as X's and O's. And I say that meaning I don't think he's going to try to force anything that isn't necessarily there out of the sake of trying to adhere to what the analytics say he should be doing. I think there will be a healthy balance of that with JJ Redick being at the helm for the Los Angeles Lakers. Um,
Can I
but
say something?
go ahead.
So I kind of did hear a piece of the press conference where it did sound a bit Darvin Ham-ish when he said, "Oh, we're going to play through Anthony Davis, and the gravity of Anthony Davis should create the surplus amount of open threes that we need to succeed." Right, like, and then we see the season come, and then I wouldn't even say it was the same old, because we definitely had spurts where the role players shine, but too many times I feel like though Anthony Davis played like 78 something crazy this year, right? Like he played 70 plus games, 72 plus games. So he played majority of the season. Great. That's great news as a fan. But it was something about that 70 plus. I think the production waned a bit because he was trying to prove a point that he wasn't street clothes, or he could be healthy and he could be available. So I think you kind of started getting into a period where Bron is dominating the basketball in order for them to win games. And it's like every coach says, or at least like that's been a running theme lately, we're going to play through Anthony Davis and let LeBron get off the ball more. We need Bron to be more fresh and more rested towards the playoffs, right? But it's like when they get in clutch situations, like when the game gets close, you just go back to reliable. And I don't know I don't know if you're going to be able to continue to do that with LeBron being 40 now. You can't do that. I'm gonna just go out on a limb.
Yeah. Another angle too from JJ being the head coach for the Lakers that I've been thinking about. Um, as we know, since Phil Jackson, no head coach. I want to say it's like 6 coaches in the past 13 seasons, and no head coach since Phil Jackson has coached more than 3 seasons. JJ Redick's deal is for 4 years. Um, and so I think whether or not the Lakers are successful, JJ Redick being the head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers will serve him long after he's no longer the Lakers head coach. I
Oh,
say that I say that from a perspective of once he's done coaching, if he elects to go back to being an analyst, if he decides to do that, right?
as that he finishes out the contract quick.
Huh?
As he finishes out the contract.
He doesn't.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Quick.
Uh history.
Man. Okay. I, just to make me think. Besides history, what specifically is he just inept? Just don't have the pieces, not gonna get the
No,
pieces. What if
I
they get
think
Trae Young in free agency?
this all right. So if they get the pieces and they are able to win the championship before LeBron retires, I think JJ wins with house money and gets out. That's what I don't see. I don't see him finishing the contract because I don't know if I really see LeBron playing another 4 years.
Right.
And I feel like as a head coach, that job with the Lakers is only appealing mostly because of LeBron James. Now, let's say if they put enough pieces around LeBron James and once LeBron retires, you still have like a championship caliber team. All right, maybe he stays and maybe you decide to extend his contract. But I would like to also think once LeBron gets ready to retire, I'm just assuming once LeBron gets ready to retire, let's say it's within the next 3 years, it's arguable that maybe the Lakers would be in a rebuilding mode once LeBron gets ready to leave. And when a team is in a rebuilding mode, sometimes the collateral damage of rebuilding is that like it's out with everything, and you're trying to rebuild and out with the old or the current head coach and in with the new head coach. So that's just impulse, quick, like why I don't see him fully like living out the 4 years of the contract outside of like what the history has told us.
I got a hot take. I think JJ Redick is the coach of LeBron James as LeBron James goes off into the sunset and retires.
Yeah, this is LeBron's last coach.
But I think that goes against you saying that JJ won't finish out the duration of the contract because that's what we parse. Well, it could be. I mean, it could be perfect timing, just depending on how you slice it.
Because we
Depending on
talk
how you
about
dice it.
how
He
we talk
could be
about,
out soon as LeBron. He could be, man, hey, fuck y'all. I really only
and
took this
Braun
over
and
because
right, like
LeBron.
Braun hasn't resigned yet, and we talk about how strategic he is with his +1, +2 year contracts. So it's just like,
And of course, the Lakers come out with the Lakers are committed to James and willing to give him a 2 or 3 year max. Of course,
so yeah, so I don't see JJ finishing out the full 4 years, and I say that even if he is successful with being the head coach, which brings me back to my second point and talking about how this is going to serve JJ long after being a head coach. I think obviously being a head coach specifically in the Lakers market, that's going to be highly taxing. And I think once JJ goes through that fire, whether he excels or not, he's gonna be like, all right, being a head coach is cool. I'm gonna go ahead bow gracefully as LeBron is getting ready to retire. I got the coach, arguably, for whoever wants to argue, the greatest basketball player in the world. I'm cool. I'm gonna take all that experience I just got as a head coach and possibly go back to being an analyst where I'm not negotiating my contract on being an analyst as a 15-year NBA veteran or a superstar college football. Superstar. Hold on real quick. I'm not negotiating post being a head coach as a 15-year NBA veteran or a superstar college basketball player. I'm now attaching former Los Angeles Lakers head coach to my title, which gives me more collateral to negotiate a higher contract as an analyst. And also, too, you think about being in LA and JJ building his own media platform, his own media empire, all of the access, endorsement deals, advertisement, partnerships that come along with that for him to be able to build up his media empire post coaching or even while he is coaching. I think that's the long-term play for JJ, building his media empire as opposed to really trying to invest his second career or the second half of his life as he's just turned 40 to trying to be like the next Coach K.
I don't know about Coach K, but I'll make an NFL comp. What if JJ Redick is the starting trend of he begins to be like that Sean McVay of the of the NBA, so to speak. And obviously, Sean McVay didn't play professionally, but he did play it. And I believe he was like the best high school player in his state, or one of. I think he grew up in the same state as Calvin Johnson, but he actually won Player
Breaking
of the Year.
news. I'm sorry,
He won Player of the Year while Calvin Johnson was in high school as well, so that's saying something. But I said that to say, what if he's a boy genius? What if he, is so? I don't know. Maybe because football is so schematic, and it is, it's very important that you have a great coach to scheme up great players, because you can have a lot of great players, but if you're not positioning them in the right way, as in like a chess piece, so to speak, it doesn't equate to winning, as opposed to great basketball players could overcome deficient coaching to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Like, especially in the regular season, you may be able to disguise it if a dude just sucks, like LeBron has done countless times in his early career, right? But football, I feel like not so much. So maybe that's not a good comp. But I don't know. What if JJ Redick is that boy wonder and that next thing?
I
Where
like the
he
McVay.
sticks.
I like the McVay comp. I like who else is Mike McDaniel. I don't know if you would put Mike McDaniel in there for with the Heat, not with the Heat, with the Dolphins. In terms of just like that new head coach, new young like life in the league that's kind of like electric or like
Yeah,
relatable.
a younger, fresher face that could relate more to the locker room in this day and age player. Yeah, from that angle, I can see where you're going with it.
And shout out to JJ too for collecting all this data on players and teams throughout the past couple of years on his podcast, and now hopefully being able to use it to his advantage.